How's it going? Hello, and welcome. Welcome to episode 82 of Brews Less Travel, the podcast exploring the best uncharted craft beer scenes across these United States. I'm your host, Brian, and again, so happy to be joined by my co-host for these ABQ episodes, the Duke City Chronicles, as we've been calling them behind the scenes here. Isaac Bell, how's it going? How's it
It's
going, buddy?
good. Yeah, great to be here. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Are you ready for the holidays?
Absolutely not.
Mm.
I don't think I ever am. But
I am I am more ready than I think I have been in many years prior.
yeah,
Uh I sent packages out today. I went and shopped at a bunch of local businesses today,
love to
wrapping
hear
up
it.
some of my shopping, and I have two packages I'm waiting on in the mail, and I'll be wavy gravy, ready to
Love
rock and roll.
love to hear it, man. I'll tell you a fun, quick little story before we get into it about our Christmas experience this year. My partner and I, families are both going, out to California. We opted to stay home and have just a quiet little thing. And everybody's, what do you want for Christmas? What can we get you? And our biggest need here is an oven. So we currently have a working oven. We have a gas oven. I replaced the starter on about 3 years ago when we moved in. However, the starter is on a little bit of a delay now, and I don't know where this happened. So I found myself waiting out on the back deck every single time I turn the oven on because we get a little bit of a boom. So this year we're getting ourselves an oven for Christmas and maybe saving our lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I understood that anecdote correctly. You're currently worried that your oven is going to blow up, so it's a safety hazard. Santa
Yeah.
really needs to like come
Get
through.
get that oven here like ASAP. Yeah. Essentially what's happening is the entire inside is filling up with gas, and then the relay, I mean, it could be 10 seconds, sometimes it's a minute. You never know what you're going to get. So
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Christmas beer? Do you have a favorite Christmas style of beer to drink around Christmas?
oh yeah, for me, anybody that knows me really well knows that I love barley wines. So I would say just kind of any barley wine. Obviously can't drink barley wine all day. We have a tradition with our family where we usually start with champagne in the morning. Um, and it's a big thing. Do you want peach schnapps with your champagne or not? The answer is always no, unless you want to end your day by 10 a.m.
Oh boy. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
What about you? Favorite Christmas beer?
I always go Celebration Ale. That's my
Nice.
favorite. Sierra Nevada's one of
Yep.
my all-time favorites. I think I may have mentioned my daughter's middle name is Sierra. I'm a little obsessed. But yeah, that's my favorite beer to drink around this time of year. It's just brings me it floods back memories of Christmases past.
Sure.
Close second is Southern Tier Old Man,
That's a good
which
one.
is like an old ale. And I have some family members that used to work for Southern Tier when they were just, making a name for themselves back in the aughts. And that beer got brought to Christmases right around the time that I started
Yeah.
drinking of legal age. So
Right.
between Old Man and Celebration, I'm a happy boy this winter. Although I did just get back from the beer store and I bought a 30 pack of hams. So
There you go.
apparently it's gonna be hams this year.
Nice, nice light lager to get you through the whole day.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the goal.
Right.
Continuing our way through Duke City, we're featuring Ex Novo, and we'll be enjoying their Mary and Berries fruited session sour ale, as well as their Where the Mild Things Are dark English mild. Ex Novo was actually founded in Portland, Oregon in 2014 by Joel Gregory. Isaac, you and I actually shared a beverage at their original location. Do you remember that trip?
I do remember that trip. It was pretty monumental. Not only because the beer was great and it
Yep.
was a fantastic place to go, but also when that is, I think you and I were both traveling and COVID like became a thing.
We were in Portland when the first case
Yeah.
of COVID was diagnosed in Oregon. I
Yep.
think it was February 2020.
That's right.
Yeah.
Your daughter was not born yet.
My daughter was not born yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a weird time.
Yeah.
But that was a great trip. Portland, great beer scene. Ex Novo's location there was beautiful. We had some great
Yeah.
beers, and we'll always remember that fondly. It's
Super
kind of
excited about the sour because I remember having a really excellent sour while we were there as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
We had lots of good beers, but yeah, that sour sticks in my memory as well. And we'll get into their New Mexico location. We've been talking about Portland. We're talking featuring
Right.
New Mexico. We're going to talk about that and more in just a second here. But we're happy to be joined by a guest from Ex Novo. He's the Southwest sales manager. Please welcome James Gregory. How's it going, James?
If I can figure out all this stuff, it's going great. There we go. It's only 2 clicks. Doing great.
Yeah. That's great. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us. Let's kick things off with our quick sip questions as we do. We need a sound for this. Laura, can we have a sound for this? Can you authorize a sound? We need like a bumper. Is that what they call it? Bumper sound. Yeah. Quick sip questions. Fast questions, fast answers. Helps us get to know you fast. James, are you ready?
As ready as I can be.
Wonderful. Favorite non Ex Novo beer?
Ooh. Oh, you're gonna stun me on the first one? It's Bierstadt Helles.
Oh,
nice.
I could drink that thing all day, every day, all year.
A boot.
Yes, Isaac. I could also enjoy a boot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, just a big stein.
That's right.
Yeah, where you have to give them your ID, and they're like, "We're gonna hold on to this, so you don't steal this boot from us."
Because otherwise you would.
That's right.
I'm from New Mexico, so I'm just a natural thief. So yeah.
Okay. Red or green chilies?
Ooh, that's a depends. That's like when people ask, like, what kind of beer do you like? Yeah, depends on the season. Depends on what dish it's on. I would probably say green most of the time, though.
Okay. Is it a green or a red day? Is today a green or a red day?
I had green chili on my chicken sandwich.
That's amazing. Czech or German Pilsner?
Ooh, German.
All right. Favorite Christmas song?
Carol of the Bells, but like the metal version. That's all. I don't know who does it, but there's like a full metal electric guitar Carol of the Bells, and it's red.
The Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
There's that one, but I found an even heavier version this year that we may be featuring on the 12 Beers of Christmas.
All right.
So tune into that. But I would agree that's an all-timer. And then finally, our favorite quick sip question. Have you ever seen a UFO, Bigfoot, ghost, or anything inexplicable?
Chupacabra. No.
Okay.
That's a very Southwest move, though. Sorry.
Yeah. Do they have javelinas in?
Oh yeah, I have seen one of those. I've been like 30 feet away from one of those in the wild. It was kind of scary.
They're weird. They're weird looking. They're aggressive too, right?
Yeah, big pigs with like dog teeth. Yeah.
I think I actually have one of those.
Really?
Yeah. we call him a chupacabra. He's an English bulldog.
Oh, there you go. I was like, I can't tell if you're kidding.
Oh boy.
Just Isaac, from now on, if you're kidding, can you just hold a pinky up? So that
that'll be our code for the next like 30 minutes here.
All right.
Perfect. Yeah, and I do kid a lot, so my pinky's probably just gonna be out all the time. Perfect. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for those answers, James. I'd like to get into our first beer because I'm getting thirsty here.
I have to crack mine.
Yeah, I didn't know what I like more, the Maurice Sendak sort of vibe here that we're drinking, or one of my favorite unappreciated styles. The mild as well. And also, like, not only Maurice Sendak here, but also a little bit of like Big Mouth vibes.
From the okay.
So that label, I'm gonna pour myself a full one real quick, just because.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And for those of you that are wondering, we're pouring the mild here.
Yeah, I did see a comment asking about the Ruminator. Also a good beer, also a good winter beer. But yeah, we did kind of just switcheroo at the last minute. So dark English mild. This is one of those underappreciated. Oh my god, we got my branded glass too.
There you go.
Unappreciated styles. I wish people would do more of it. I think it's one of those ones that could be a banger. Kind of like how people are starting to appreciate craft lagers more, but just that roasty. I love the roasty notes you get in this, but also with a low ABV. Yeah, just one of those ones you could drink all day. That was like my favorite November beer when it just started to get kind of cold. And I'm like, give me a patio beer, but malt forward.
Yeah, I think sometimes for me it's an all year round sort of style,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that is because it's like such a treat because a lot of people, or a lot of breweries don't make them.
Yeah, usually if you want malt forward, you're drinking a porter, or a stout, or we've been doing a lot. The Ruminator 2 is one of those. Sorry, everybody, I'm going to talk about the beer that we didn't. But
that just means they got to get it.
It's one of those things that I think we do well as a brewery is kind of lean into some of those traditional styles that aren't hypey at all. These more malt forward, kind of darker lager things. Obviously, this isn't one of those, but yeah, the Doppelbock, really nice. The art on this can, so it was a riff on our general manager. He basically drew from where the mild things are, but an English-looking guy. An English-looking monster,
right?
Which I love that he just like hand drew that.
Yeah, on the like toy double decker,
Yeah, no, fantastic. I was like, are the teeth English enough? I think they're English enough.
Yeah, it's an elite label. I didn't even.
Elite, yeah.
These are all things I. Yeah.
You got to look at it closely.
Yeah, this beer is wonderful. It's one of those. It's again, yeah, I would agree. It's a style that's underappreciated, but when you see it on draft, when you see a brewery that commits to it, like, yeah, we're gonna put on an English dark mild. That's one of the first beers I'm ordering, because if they're gonna put something on like that, they're gonna put in the effort that it takes to design a good recipe that's gonna produce a good version of that style. They're gonna take the patience to brew it the right way. They may condition it or whatever juju they do to it. Just across the board, English pub ales are grossly underrepresented in the American beer market. And if we could get more bitters out there, more pub ale, more English dark mild, more miles in general, the drinking world would be a better place.
Yeah, I think so. I think having decent beers that are under 5% is something that we haven't really leaned into much as a beer culture. But yeah, this beer is fantastic. I actually got stopped by a Englishman at Whole Foods the other day. It's like, when are you bringing back the mild? It's my favorite beer since I've been stateside. It's like, oh,
what a testament.
We got one fan, English guy. I was gonna try to butcher an English accent for you guys, but I don't know if there's any Brits on here that I don't want to offend.
We could have taken it out in post.
or we could put it in. Do we have technology to do that?
You sure you don't want to? There's still time.
Please confirm. So I read something really cool when doing the research for this. Stan Hieronymus. I never know how to say his name correctly, so somebody please correct me if I do. But the famed beer writer literally wrote the book on hops. His 10 best beers of 2022. One of those beers was Where the Mild Things Are. That's high praise from one of the most respected beer writers in the world. Was that something that was on your radar, number one? And number two, is that, do you at the brewery kind of look for those things, or do you just, with beers like this, just kind of keep doing what you're doing?
It's one of those, it's like, hey, that's great, someone appreciated it. It's one of those ones that we, as a kind of back of house staff, it's like, yeah, we're going to do this because we like to do this, and this is a beer that we like, and there's some appreciation. It's not a hypey, hazy IPA. It's not flying off the shelves, but it's getting more and more appreciation. This is the second year we've done it. So it's a one-off. Well, I shouldn't say it. It's kind of seasonal, even though we don't take a chunk of time. It's like we're pulsing it once a year, and it's going to be a pretty small batch. But we've done it a couple years in a row, and I think every time we do, it gets a little more excitement behind it, which is kind of funny for a beer like this. But it's freaking good beer, and yeah, you get people like that who write stuff about it, and it's like, oh, maybe I will try a dark English mild. I wouldn't have thought of that as a really great, delicate, hop forward beer, but
Well, now you know there's 3 confirmed people that actually like the beer. So there's Stan, the British guy at the Whole Foods, and then I'm digging it myself. So
yep.
4, 5, James.
4, 5.
You haven't
Yep.
you haven't explicitly said whether you like the beer or not. But
Oh, I
can
love this
assume.
beer.
Yeah,
I absolutely
perfect.
love this beer. Like, maybe we should submit. I don't even know if there's a GABF category. Like, maybe we should submit this, and
We've
still
got
no one will care.
we've got 6. We've got Daniel in the chat who also really likes it as well. So I mean, this boom. I'm hearing good things about this beer.
Daniel,
Yeah.
my man.
Let's talk a little bit about the name Ex Novo. So, what does it mean literally, and what does it mean in terms of inspiration?
Ooh, you've done your homework. So literally is actually kind of hard. So it's the best translation. It's Latin, first of all. And living in the Southwest, it's kind of funny. Everyone wants to make it Spanish, like it's Latin.
El Novo.
We get called El Novo all the time, which is hilarious to me. But basically means from scratch, like of new or of nothing. But from scratch is the best translation that we would use.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, from ground up is really how we think about it, and that's been how we've run this brewery. And yeah, the inspiration for just making something from nothing kind of is what's,
Or from the very beginning.
or from the beginning.
Yeah. That's the best
That
place
is-
to start.
You gotta start at the beginning. Yeah, and it's kind of funny too, like thinking about the New Mexico aspect of this, because it isn't the original location in Portland, which my brother started in 2014. That was like a total passion project for him. A lot of people told him it was a terrible idea. There's way too many breweries in Portland. Like, you're gonna fail. All that kind of, the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 blocks away from Widmer. All that good stuff. But it had a really cool passion project, and that gained a following that made really great beer. Sorry, you probably have a question about this. I'm just gonna segue into what I think the next question is gonna be. Keep going. But yeah, it did that for a while, and yeah, had a really great following. I thought they were consistently like one of the top 10 breweries in Portland after about year 2. Just on all the, if you're going to Portland, like, got to stop by Ex Novo. And then, what was it? 2018-ish. He kind of got the hankering, I think, to move closer to family. I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I think that's why. So we're from Corrales, New Mexico, which is just a little kind of rural community just outside of Albuquerque. No one knows what Corrales is, so it's fine.
Kind of in between Albuquerque and Santa Fe, right?
It's like right next to Albuquerque.
Okay.
It like borders Albuquerque. It's a lot closer to Albuquerque than Santa Fe. It's Brian. It's okay that you don't know where it is.
Brian has this thing where he has to know where everything is.
No, everyone, like half the people in, like, no, that's not true. But anyone from out of the state doesn't know where it is. It's tiny. It's like 7,000 people. But there's some land, and it's where we grew up. And when it was actually at Christmas 2017 that he had the idea. It's like, what do you think about Ex Novo, New Mexico? It's like, if you come here, I'm 100% in. Because I flew up there, and we were like hanging lights in Portland in 2014 when they opened. Like, minutes before they're open, we're like trying to get the light. It was so much DIY going on in that brewery. We were so out of money, and it was fun.
It was Ex Novo.
Yeah, absolutely. Super passionate about that whole thing, and just the thought of it coming here made me really excited. So came down, bought 3 acres. So you guys have a sweet layout. That's a pretty good shot of actually the brewery. All your chairs in the way, Brian, but Isaac, way better. Strong work. That's our beer garden that we just opened. The brewery is the big building behind it. I did a little bit bigger brewery this time so that we could actually have a canning line and produce a little bit more.
This guy showed up for you that day the photo was taken.
They really did. It was pretty
Yeah.
solid. We get some good sunny days out here. In New Mexico. Yeah, it's been a super fun project. It's grown really great out here. Pretty well received, and the community loves it too. Like the little grass area, there's no people in this picture, which is hilarious. But if you go by on a Saturday, there's like 1,000 kids in that grass area. It's been a pretty fun thing to see it grow.
Yeah, I believe it. And this must have been in the morning. This actually isn't a sunset; it's a sunrise.
Actually, because of all the cars in the parking lot, I think this is a reserved thing for the. This is sunset. This is a reserved wedding, I believe, which is why there's no people there.
There you go.
So Portland, Oregon, and Albuquerque, New Mexico, Corrales, New Mexico, very different places.
Oh,
Same places. Very different places, very different cities, history, different geography, different beer scenes. So going from Portland, this place with a very long established, it at one time, at many times, maybe even right now, the city with the most breweries per capita, to Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is very different. 100 breweries in all of New Mexico right now. What feels different? What is worked differently compared to Portland, and overall, how is the community received it differently compared to the reception in Portland?
Are you talking about Ex Novo specifically, or craft beer, like as a culture?
We could start with Ex Novo specifically, but if you want to expand into craft beer, but you talk about whatever you want. You could just refuse to answer the question.
Pass. Laura, can we scratch that question from the record? No, I'm just kidding. The support Portland, yes, it's like the mecca of craft beer, and that thing boomed, mid odd 2000s to what 2010ish was just going off in Portland. And that was basically when craft beer in Albuquerque was kind of, in a fledgling state.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually here during that time, and some of our bigger breweries were tiny at that point, just getting off the ground, which is kind of fun to sort of grow with that. And I was getting into that in like the 2010s ish, seeing all the breweries pop up, and it was like a cool thing. And my brother's like, "Oh yeah, you should come to Portland. The scene is crazy here." But they received it well. They received Ex Novo really well in Portland, even though there's 1,000 breweries, and maybe that's part of it. Is let's go see the new one, and then when the new one actually is good, it's like, oh, okay, let's keep going. I do think there was a little bit of the I don't know. I don't want to put thoughts in other people's minds, but there may have been something with the drink beer do good motto that we have, and Ex Novo being started as it was. But it actually was when we opened the doors in 2014. I say we. I didn't open the doors in 2014, but when Joel opened the doors in 2014,
the royal we.
Yeah, exactly. The royal we. It was a nonprofit, and so that after about a couple of years, the state of Oregon moved Ex Novo out of that into more of a benefit company. Man, this is a boring conversation, but the kind of ethos stuck, and we're still trying to do our part with our community and even some worldwide stuff, but we're trying to donate money to nonprofits and charities. And actually to this point, I think we just crossed $140,000, which is not
boring to me.
Yeah, not nothing. So we try to, gosh, that's so cheesy, put our money where our mouth is with that. but yeah, one of the cooler things we've done in New Mexico, as far as this is concerned, is we have a collaboration with our, gosh, we're gonna go round and round, but New Mexico also very tiny population, big landmass, tiny population. So we don't have, the only quasi professional sports team we have is the New Mexico United. They're professional. They're not MLS. They're like right below that, but everyone loves them. And so we have like a collaboration beer with them, which is kind of fun, called Stay Golden. Guess the style, but also spelled like goal. Hitting you with that triple entendre again. Yeah, we do it. We're here for it. But we donate $1 of every pint sold over the the pub to their foundation called Somos Unidos Foundation, which is pretty cool. And then $1 for every case. So it's actually been a pretty decent sum of money for that goes to their foundation, which is cool.
Very
Whew.
cool.
What else? Sorry, I'm way off topic.
No,
So
you're
back to the
good.
scene. I know you want to know about the scene. You don't care about the people. You want to know about the scene. Let's get into the scene, Brian. No, I think Ex Novo was accepted here right off the bat. Hit me, Isaac. Let's go. I think Corrales loved it just because we're this tiny little community, and we put this cool brewery, and then the beer was good. And then it did have some notoriety of, we hit the ground with already making good beer. We didn't have to kind of cut our teeth and go through a bunch of garbage beer before we figured out how to make it. It's like we already know how to make good beer. One of the things Joel's done really well. There's obviously probably some luck there too, but got some really strong brewers. We've been very fortunate with our brewers, been just top notch. Processes as well as creativity, which has been really fun. I do think sorry.
I was just going to say, speaking of beers and breweries, this actually might be a perfect segue into an empty glass that I have here. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the Marion Berry, which is our next beer.
Like the berry itself or the beer?
The actual beer.
Can I finish my...
Yes, absolutely.
No, I got a different glass. Don't worry. Isaac, don't worry. I brought appropriate
Okay,
glass.
perfect. Also, that wasn't me threatening to hit you. That was me showing you that the pinky goes both ways in terms of the kidding around.
I love it.
I think just to kind of wrap up what James was saying, you've kind of buried the lead here in your reception in New Mexico, or your production in New Mexico, and how it's different from Portland. The New Mexico location has won 2 GABF medals already, and I think that's something to really say for taking what you learned in Portland, taking it to a different market, taking it to a different brew house and a different clientele, and still seeing that level of success, both in being accepted by the community and being awarded at the biggest beer competition in the country 2 times.
Yeah, and we got a world silver too, or Vienna lager.
Ooh, sick category.
So good.
Absolutely.
That's one of my favorite beers. Man, it's good.
And I was just saying, Brian, too, like I remember when we were in the Portland location, like it felt like there wasn't a lot of room while we're sitting there. And it looks like the Albuquerque location has a ton of room for people. And like you said, booked out for a wedding. So obviously people are going.
Yeah. We're very, for better or for worse, this location here is very weather dependent. Tons of outdoor space, pretty small inside tap room. So right now we're actually getting slaughtered. I'm just kidding. Like, this is what we get for a sales guy. He just wants to talk about numbers. But no, it's a little bit different animal when it gets really cold. But in the spring, summer, fall, the fall in particular, it's amazing. The weather's great, and there are a ton of people outside, and it's just a great atmosphere for sure. Come down and enjoy a pint.
I'd love to. Brian, Albuquerque next.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've been talking about going there to go on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul tours, and
the beer scene here is actually phenomenal. We've got some really great breweries here. I get told all the time, like, oh yeah, we love Ex Novo, and it's like one of my favorite 3 breweries. I'm like, me too. Brewing industry in general, I think, is great. The competition is so cool. People ask me like, what do you like? I'm like, well, you should go to this brewery. This brewery makes an amazing this. Just hyping each other up, and everyone, I think, does a really great job of building each other up, which is pretty, I don't want to say totally unique to our industry, but pretty unique to our industry.
Yeah,
there's exceptions. There's some places who don't do that, but I think in general, the breweries are pretty cool to each other.
Yeah, speaking of, funny enough, the The medal you won at GABF this year was for Scotch Ale. It was a silver.
Sons of Scott.
Sons of Scotland. Funny enough, the bronze medal recipient was
Yeah.
Quarter Celtic Brew Pub,
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
also in Albuquerque. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely good beer being made, exceptional beer being made there, and it seems like there's good camaraderie around those. It seems like around all beer scenes, but especially in those beer scenes that may be the uncharted or lesser known, the ones that we like to feature here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about this Marion berries. It goes a Marion berry, raspberry. What is a Marion berry? Because I don't know.
It's like a cousin of the blackberry. It grows in around the Pacific Northwest.
Can I ask a question about this can? Well, I'm going to ask it regardless. So I don't
You
know
go
why
ahead and ask it.
I asked him, yeah.
I reserve the right to not know the answer.
So it says, I can't see I've got the green screen on. It says
Yeah, I got you.
sniffle on the right hand side of the can there.
It's so cute.
What is up with the sniffle?
You got me. I don't know.
It's like it's a word bubble. Is that coming off? Is that what a Marion berry looks like?
No. So you got your raspberry. Raspberry. That's a Marionberry. That's a raspberry. You have to forgive me. This is backwards. This is the crowd, right? Crowd of berries.
Got it. And they're crying,
sniffling because
they're
it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. This beer is so beautiful. Actually, funny story. Because they're getting married and buried. So Jonathan Case, boom, that guy right there. Graphic novelist. He did this can. He did this other one that I happen to be drinking, Pearl Haggard. He's a really great cartoonist, but does some cool stuff. He did a really awesome mural here, and there's a really awesome mural at Ex Novo in Portland. I don't know if you remember it. It stands out. It's like a keg robot being built by Rosie the Riveter. So he drew all that stuff, which is pretty cool. He's a friend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Love good art.
So that's
somebody has a good question in the chat here. Matt asks, huge climate difference between Portland to New Mexico. Do you know, James, if that had any effect on the brewing process and recipes?
Climate, no. Water, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The climate doesn't matter that much, obviously, because once you're mashing in, everything's wet, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can maybe make a case for your silo drying out more here. We have a good sized silo, and like the grain bags maybe drying out more, but you're hydrating them right away in the mash in. So I doubt it. I think it has more to do with water chemistry than climate. And so we're on a well, which is crazy. I don't know how many breweries. Raise your hand if you're at a brewery. Chat room, raise your hand if you're at a brewery on a well. Oh, none of you guys? Cool. Yeah, our well's super deep. We're a half mile from the Rio Grande. So if you dig a hole at our brewery and 20 feet, you're hitting mud. And our well hits the aquifer. It's like 350 feet. It's a super deep well. The water that comes out is really great, but it has a different mineral content than Portland's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little harder. We do RO. This is getting nerdy. Also, raise your hand if you don't want to go nerdy brew stuff from the sales guy.
No, we want to go there.
Absolutely.
It's harder water for sure. So we RO a decent portion. Not all, because it's pretty wasteful. We enough to get by. We don't want to have like sulfur come out in our beers, which you can. Bring on the nerdy. Thanks, Ron. I think that's the biggest. I don't think climate has as much to do with it. Climate has more to do with how depressed your brewers are, because they haven't seen the sun in like 6 weeks. Just kidding, Portland. We love you
guys. So Ex Novo's, as we've talked about, the motto is drink beer, do good. We often talk about the impact breweries have in their community on this show. What are some other ways that that slogan has been meaningful for the team at Ex Novo? We talked about the 100,000, over $140,000 donated, but what are some other ways you think that manifests in the brand?
Uh, I just kind of you get the kind of culture, I think, of people who like that, which trickles down and kind of is woven through the fabric of who we are. Um, and that is a really hard measurable. But I think having people who are, really into great beer, but also like the idea of not
Doing
just,
good.
yeah, exactly. Of like
Yeah.
the idea of having them together, with our staff in particular. Just having that, the people is what makes your brewery, and having people who are behind that, I think brings out not just a better product, but a way better culture.
Yeah, I think earlier in the hour you said that you like didn't want to put the idea in people's heads that the reason that you might be successful was because of that. But I think you're onto something there, or the right track there with that, because my favorite thing to tell people when they complain about things, or especially a product or a service, or beer, vote with your wallet, right? Like the best way to support something, if you believe in it, is choose where you spend your money. And obviously people are buying your beer, so they like something that you're doing. Maybe the beer is really good and they hate your mission, but I don't think that's it.
Well, no,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
something to be said. I mean,
Yeah.
I've said this exact phrase a bunch of times on here, but the barrier for entry in this modern beer scene is quality. Like, if you're not making good beer, especially in the more competitive markets, you're going to fall by the wayside, and may even have to go to the extreme of closing the brewery. So when people can get good beer all around them, you do start to choose like whose brand aligns with what I care about,
Right.
who aligns with what I want to see in my community, more from being a gathering space, and more than just making good beer that you like to share with your friends. Like, how can I feel like this dollar spent is going further than just the good times that I'm going to have out of it, the good times that I might share with people out of it. It matters. I mean, you people can undersell it, and we can make jokes about it as much as we want, and it's fun to make jokes, of course, but like, I think it really does matter. People want to know where their money is going, and that's the whole thing with wanting to support a small local craft brewery over supporting a craft brewery that's owned by Anheuser-Busch or a big multinational conglomerate. At the very least, your money is at least staying in the community.
Right. Yeah.
And then when you see them invest in local community organizations, it's even going further. So it definitely matters.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I like that. Yeah, at the base level, it's like the beer is super quality. Like, I don't want people. I guess the thing is, I never want to think people are giving up quality for that. And I love that you guys are sampling these beers. These beers are fantastic. But I'm like, oh, I wish I had 10 beers for you guys to sample, because like this Pilsner is fantastic. That IPA is fantastic. We
sample them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, James, we'll hang on after this. We'll give you our addresses. Brian Hathaway.
That's right. Strike this from the record.
Sorry, can we delete this in post? No, but I just like, I want people to think our portfolio is awesome and the beer here is top notch. And I just want the icing on the cake for the consumer, I think, is that we do good. I think for us as a culture in the brewery, I think it's a bigger thing. But I like the idea of like, oh, this is my favorite beer. Plus, that's kind of where I land on it. That's more of a personal thing, but that's where I land on it.
Yeah. Well, you got to feel good about what you're doing. James,
Sure.
what's the best thing about Christmas in the desert?
Ooh, in the desert? It won't snow. No, that's the worst thing about it, because it sometimes does snow. It's not going to snow this year. It might still be sunny on Christmas. Dude, I'm so over winter. I'm a bad person to ask.
Already.
I know. It happens fast.
I don't even think winter started yet. I'm fairly sure. Isn't today the last day of fall?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
The
tomorrow's the
solstice is
solstice.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
We're not even there yet, and you're already over it. Love it.
I know. I really am. I'm like, it's cold.
I'm with
angry
you.
about it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's gonna get single degrees here in Pittsburgh this week, and I'm here for it.
You like it? You like it cold?
I don't mind it cold. I hope it comes with snow, but
It better
I
not
don't
come
I
with
don't
just
really mind
rain.
it.
Yeah.
Ugh,
I
that's the
would say the
worst.
nice thing that people don't really know. Well, people who haven't been to New Mexico, we're at 5,000 feet in Corrales, and we've got a mountain that's like 10,000 that you can see. If you turn this picture around, you'd be looking at a pretty decent mountain. And then Santa Fe is 45 minutes away. So I actually like to do snow sports. I like to snowboard, so I get excited when we actually get snow in the mountains and can go out there,
Nice.
ride around.
Yeah, you don't think about that. You don't think about like snowboarding in New Mexico.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Taos is like one of the better mountains in the country. It's like a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's legit. Yeah, you guys should come out here and be sweet.
Yeah, we really should.
You're like,
Sounds better and
I
better.
just told you I live in Pittsburgh. I'm not flying. I get it. I get.
Hey, James, I love the American Southwest. I vacationed in Arizona numerous times, and I proposed to my wife in Utah. So, like, I will,
Oh, there you go.
I will take any excuse to travel across the country and go to the Southwest.
New Mexico is
Absolutely.
not dissimilar to Utah from a like geological standpoint. Really,
Mhm.
the culture is pretty different. We have a way different, like really cool Hispanic population.
Yeah.
You know, Mexico. We have in Corrales, like a stone's throw that way. There's a church that was built in the 1600s, which is really cool. So that culture's been around for a long time. So there's some cool stuff there that's been interwoven in that culture that's probably different than Utah. I don't know. I've never lived in Utah, but I imagine. But as far as the like Rocky Mountains kind of high desert thing, I think there's some cool stuff that's very similar there. Utah's beautiful though. I love Utah.
You've got Hispanic culture or you've got the Mormon culture. Like, which one do you choose? Like, for me, I'm going to go with the Hispanic culture.
Oh, was there a peak? I didn't.
Yeah, there's a picky down there. Yeah.
I love it. I love I love food. I love the culture. I've got a. It's like very heterogeneous, I guess, with as far as mixes and stuff like that. Because you have just that really rich Hispanic culture, which has been really fun to kind of grow up in and experience that. I don't think a lot of people from a lot of areas in the country get to do that, which is cool.
Yeah. So what's next for Ex Novo in 2023? Speaking specifically about the Southwest and New Mexico. Yeah,
we are really hopeful actually that first thing, beers. We will launch a new core hazy IPA in 6-packs that we're piloting now, which is the pilots have been super great, so I'm excited about that. Hazy IPAs are difficult. They're really expensive to make.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so trying to like get a hazy IPA that has all the stuff you want in a hazy IPA that doesn't, also no one wants to pay $20 a 6-pack. So it's like, you gotta find a spot. So Ryan, our head brewer, I think knocked the first pilot out of the park. It was like, hey, stay under this much a barrel. Still use really good hops. We use Eldorado, Eldorado, Centennial, and I'm gonna miss the other one. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. I want to say it's Sabro, but I forgot. Sorry. But really, yeah, they shine, and it was like a nice kind of pineapple aroma and the like fruitiness that you like from a hazy IPA. I was excited about it.
Nice.
So they might tweak some stuff, but it's going to be pretty similar to that. That's number one cool thing. Number two is that we're going to probably head into a market that's actually this is a pretty good segue from our previous conversation. We were probably going to try to forge into El Paso,
Oh,
which is probably more New Mexican than Texan. Don't tell Texas.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we're allegedly not meant to let Texas know about.
Yeah, don't tell Texas. El Paso is like in the kind of triangle, right? It's like Texas, New Mexico, Mexico, and the thing that it's the least is Texas. Even though it's just like culture, I think.
Right.
So we're like, really excited to go to try to forge into that territory. There's some great craft beer coming out of Texas now. I think El Paso's a little underserved in that area, so we're excited to kind of shoot down there. I probably shouldn't have told you guys all that, but anyway, that's what we're trying to do.
Here it is. It's
We
out
kill
there
that
now.
in post.
Yeah.
I was just like, I think that might be classified.
That's okay.
well,
Yeah.
there you go.
Shit, if I
folks.
just start cussing a lot, will you guys have to edit all this out?
Nope. We'll just put the explicit tag on it, and we will put it in the description that you
Alright.
revealed secret information to us.
Yeah.
Please
No,
don't. No, I just realized.
And that you have to wait till the end to get it, and everyone will just fast forward. It'll be fine.
Oh damn it, dude! I could
Exactly.
probably get in big time trouble for that.
Laura, timestamp that.
Laura, maybe be like, "Hey, just be."
Okay.
For like a while. I'm sorry.
There's just
How about
60
this?
seconds beat.
How about this? We're trying to get into some new territories. We don't really know exactly where. We can't disclose exactly where those would be, but maybe outside of New Mexico and other places.
But it rhymes with Pel Caso. Not to give away any hints or anything. James,
No,
This
we're
is
trying to shoot there.
Bring
this
us
is-
home. Bring us home.
this is a
Isaac.
perfect segue. What do you wish New Mexico was more well known for?
Oh man, whatever the opposite of Breaking Bad is.
Better call Saul.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
Awesome.
I love traveling, and yeah, every time I tell someone I'm from Albuquerque, like, oh, Breaking Bad, I'm like, yep. Pretty
There's other stuff there too.
unfortunately, I lived in downtown Albuquerque for a while, and it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of accurate. But there's a lot. Like we already talked about the great culture here. People are super great. I think the weather's amazing. I think the landscape's amazing. If you like outdoors, it's a great place to live. Yeah, fishing, hunting, snowboarding, mountain biking, all the things. Really great out here. Unless you're from California. If you're from California, don't move here. Move to Idaho.
Now you sound like now you're sounding like the Texans.
I
Yeah,
know.
there you go.
That's because I love Austin and I saw what California did to Austin. Don't move here. It sucks. If you're from anywhere else, it's cool.
That's what we tell. That's what you should. That's the locals motto. Don't move here. It sucks.
Yeah, you would hit.
But
you
then
guys
they
would
tell their
hate it.
friends like, it's really cool here.
We love it. I really do think it's like a hidden gem.
Good.
Unless you're from California, then
And this place is a turd.
it's the
It's
worst.
too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's too expensive. It's hot all the time, and if you're fine with the heat, then it snows all the time.
It's a dry heat. You would hate
Yeah.
it.
That's
So, James, thank you so much for joining us. Anything to plug? Where can folks find Ex Novo beer?
Oh, yeah. I mean, mainly in New Mexico. Pretty much everywhere in New Mexico, though. Our distributors have done a really fantastic job of helping us out and getting us in our package stuff pretty much everywhere. You guys, as far as shipping stuff, that's fantastic. We have a little bit of distribution in Southern Colorado and a little bit in the like Austin, Texas area, and then maybe another place in Texas sometime.
Yeah, just keep an eye out on Ex Novo's socials, their website. Make sure to follow that stuff when they announce wherever it may be.
We'll never know.
That
I have some
the-
hints.
yeah.
No, yeah, we're the usual suspects. The The Trader
Yeah.
Joe's, the Total Wines, guys like that. Local bottle shops have been awesome to us. And if you're ever in the area, you can find our beer pretty much anyway. But come to Kraus, you won't regret it.
Yeah, look at our background. It's beautiful. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for supplying beers for the show
Absolutely.
and for the beer club.
Shoot me your address. I'd love to send you guys a few more.
I will certainly
Email
take you
me.
up on that.
We should.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for another episode of BLT. Shout out to our subscribers as always. If you're interested in joining the beer club, you can head over to bruvana.com to see what our subscriptions options are. We'll be back next week to close out 2022 with one more ABQ episode. But until then, stay safe, be kind, and support local breweries. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Ryan.
Woo.